Your cut.
The question was raised. Why? According to the opinion that Gilgulim do take place and there is reincarnation. So, how does it work that you have, say, an individual who fell short in the midst of a kibbur avim in his previous Gilgul, that he comes back and is misaking it? His kechet was with a consciousness which was his previous consciousness, which was focused on that world. And its current consciousness is a completely, so to speak, new consciousness, which is focused on this world. How does one carry over to the other in order to make the tikkun, which took place under totally different circumstances with totally different consciousness and awareness? So one answer is, a very simple answer, which is that the Gra says in Machlin, and we repeat this many times, that the purpose of life is shviras hamidos. The purpose why a person is alive is to break the negative traits. When we talk about the trait, the mitzvahs are tools by which we deal with the trait. If a person fell short in the mitzvah kibbud of aim, that is a shortcoming. But the greater shortcoming is that his kochos hanefesh have not absorbed the lesson and grown and broken the negative and built the positive that should occur. The kochos hanefesh of a person remain the same. They're all the midos, whether the circumstances are the same or not. The midos are the same midos, and that's the whole point. The neshama's midos are carry over from Gilgul to Gilgul. So in the previous Gilgul, it might have been kibbud of aim, which was the mitzvah which would be misaki in his neshama. And in this Gilgul, it's going to be what's called Haftavecha Kamocha, which will be Misaki's Neshama. And there's the underlying thread, is that this person is an egocentric person. So since he's egocentric, he wasn't Mechavit Avayim. Since egocentric, has Pran Haftavecha Kamocha. It's the same trait being worked on from Gilgul to Gilgul. Okay? That's one possible answer. The second possible answer is the consciousness of both worlds, both the previous Gilgul and this current Gilgul, were fused in the full consciousness of the neshama when it's in Shamayim. In other words, between Gilgulim, the neshama is in the place where it can have the perspective and assess and be taught and guided as to how it's supposed to fix itself. What it did wrong the last time, a cheshbon nefesh on that. What it has to do this time, a cheshbon nefesh on this. And the amnesia which we have while we're in this world only affects the part of our neshama which is conscious and aware in this world. It does not affect the neshama between the worlds, between Gilgulim, and it doesn't even affect the part of the neshama which remains in Shamayim, which is the chaya and yechida, whatever you want to call it, part of the neshama. So therefore, the carryover doesn't have to be a conscious. And Chazal allude this when they say, Ilu lo chazle mazle chazle. I might not see something, but my mazel perceives it. What's my mazel? My mazel is the flow, which comes from the unconscious, or mind, not unconscious from the perspective of this world, from the unconscious mind down to the conscious mind. That is aware of far more things than I am consciously aware of. So that unconscious carries over, and can carry over, the knowledge that kibbud avayim was a shortcoming, and although I still have my conscious self, which can override my unconscious, because I have free will, nevertheless, my unconscious knows that that's what I have to be working on. Yeah?
I've heard that usually the things what was more hard for us in our Gilgul, usually the tikkun we have to do work for, like those was, like for instance, you have a problem speaking in public, maybe, or you're very bad at expressing your feelings. Maybe that's what you have to work on, that's what you're here for.
Right. So, or, if you have trouble getting up in the morning, so laziness is the issue which you have.
It's the underlying reason that person is being brought down to this world. It's not a mitzvah that he does fulfill, it's the mitzvah that gets down
right.
to.
That which they say you have to keep coming down until you do all the mitzvahs, I think is more because the mitzvahs are what we are given as tools to refine our midos. Although the Beis Yosef does say if your bris milah was not on the 8th day, you have to come down again. My bris milah was not on the 8th day.
Neither was mine.
So
it wasn't honest, no?
It doesn't matter.
So we're
Yeah.
gonna come back anyway. So what?
Yeah.
I'm not liable if I was knowing this.
You are, in laws of Gilgulim you are. So I don't know what imprint that 8th day has on my midos that I have to come back again.
Maybe you already had one.
Maybe this is, who knows, but okay. But there is such a Beis Yosef, if I recall correctly, yes.
So if a person that was absolutely perfect, except for the fact that they didn't have their Brit Milah on the 8th day, would have to come back.
And they can die 9 days into their life.
Okay, they can 9 days in, but if they're absolutely perfect,
That's famous
except for
Baal Shem
that
Tov.
single fact, they can actually pick up more problems in their next life. I mean,
Right.
it can perpetuate itself, but
Right.
I find that to be a very strange concept that if they can get worse, then they're further along in their...
Yeah, but if that's the issue, so then Hashem will bring him, but he can come back and die after 8 days, whatever.
They don't bring people around them.
So there's a cheshbon who he's born to. Everything is cheshbon, right? Everything is, those cheshbonis are not our cheshbonis, but they are Hashem's
Come back
cheshbonis.
again, regardless of what in this world.
I don't know. It sounds like it. Listen, we're in the same boat, Shlomo. So who knows? Next Gilgal we could be having the same interaction. So, so that's one issue, which was raised. The other issue which was raised is the Gemara about Rabbi Elazar ben Aruch. Rabbi Elazar ben Aruch had a dialogue and a vision with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He said, to paraphrase, Fiddler on the Roof, would it spoil some heavenly planet if I were a wealthy man? And the Fiddler on the Roof, the assumption is, no, it would not. But in the Gemara it says, yes, it would. Because Hashem says, Elazar, you want me to turn everything over from scratch to desolation and confusion as it was at the beginning, and maybe next time you'll come out rich? So, of course, everybody, particularly Rav Dessler, picks up on the maybe. Why maybe? Can't we at least ensure that he's going to become rich? So that would seem to be that a person's Gilgul is something. If we believe in Gilgulim, so then what's the big deal? Hashem should say next time he'll come back rich, right? Not this time. Next time. Not next time. Time after that. So there are several possible answers. First of all, it's quite possible that Tanoim, the name Tanoim, didn't come back another Gilgulim, because named Tanoim were holy, very holy people.
So what? Makes them different.
Could be that they reached their shleimus already.
Yeah, good. Hiskiah reached his shleimus also.
Who?
I'm not gonna say this, but there are some great tzaddikim who they say that a great tzaddik would come down to this world, not to perfect the generation. They'll come back as like Ra. They said that Ra was a Tana. Possibly.
Who says that?
People say, regardless who says that. I've heard of different, like somebody says that Baba Sali was a reincarnation of Hiskiah. Weird stuff. but it's a concept that Tzaddik will come back.
There are different things besides Gilgulim. There's Ibor and Nitzos. They could have meant that there's an Ibor Neshama, which means I have an expanded Neshama, which includes elements of previous Neshama, or Nitzos means a spark, which I have, not an actual Gilgul. Okay? So when the Zohar says, the famous Zohar is Pashtusa the Moshe B'chol Dor, the extension of Moshe in every generation, doesn't mean Moshe comes back as a Gilgul in every generation. There are sparks of Moshe Rabbeinu's Neshama which illuminate the path for subsequent generations.
Doesn't it say that the Moshe doesn't have Gilgul of Moshe?
No.
David?
No. It might be David himself.
So it's a reincarnation.
What?
No, it's a resurrection.
Whoa, that's too much Christian.
What do you mean? It's in Hoshanas.
Chabad, Rabbi, no.
No, it's in Hoshanas.
It's okay.
It's too Christian.
What do you mean? Didn't you guys say Hoshanas?
I don't remember. It's not a mix, huh?
What?
No, we're just reading it.
Is there a sitter? Art scroll?
There's one here.
I took them all out.
Thank you.
Yossi. There's one over there, but it should be has a chance. Right there in the corner, you see?
Miss one.
Yeah, who's there?
Good.
We say in Hoshanos, almost at the end, maybe some people don't say this part. So all the way at the end. It says, Kol tzamach shmo. The voice is heard of that which grows. The man whose name is Tzemach, which is the name of Mashiach. Again, the Gemara Sanhedrin says one name of Mashiach is Tzemach. Hu David be'atzmo.
That means nothing.
Where's it from?
That really means nothing.
Who wrote that?
I don't know.
Who was it from?
But he was a holy kind of guy.
No, he was. Rabbi, must be more.
Yeah, what?
Is it a Gemara?
You have to get an annotated siddur. I don't remember what the source is. Okay? But this source, Hu David be'atzmo. David be'atzmo.
Okay. That could mean he's David Batzmo in his midos, in his characteristics,
Or
in
his soul.
No, I'm saying that it's symbolic. Like, seriously, it doesn't have to be more.
What bothers you if it is David HaMelech?
It's too much like
It's the purpose
Jesus.
of bringing David again. He said that his descendant was Mashiach. He didn't say David is going to come back to this world again. Mashiach.
Okay, who knows? Why not? What do you care?
Because then you gotta go to the problem.
There's no
of who's gonna be
amazing
the parents
until
of
after.
Mashiach. No, it's not going to work out.
T.S. Mason was much after Mashiach.
Not according to Hoshanas. It said in the previous Hoshana.
Most opinion is after, no?
Yes, but according to Hoshanas, maybe the Hoshanas were written by Klaus Lubavitcher. But I think they were around longer than that. And the previous one says, two before, it says, Kol ilzi chavatzelas hasharon. A voice comes out, rejoice. I don't know what chavatzelas means.
What makes it fun to say this?
Ki kamli yishenei Chevron. Those who are sleeping in Hebron have arisen. So that's before Mashiach. Mashiach only comes 2 stanzas later.
He was chronological.
Yeah.
The poetry, they have to make it rhyme.
Right, that's what it is.
Maybe Mashiach
What?
will bring T.S. Amazing and then the Mashiach will come.
Whatever you want to understand it. I don't understand.
Here's amazing. Wouldn't it be clear in public, like, okay, Robert died, just some guy out of a grave and he's walking now? Wouldn't there be like a shock to everybody? Like, well, what Behira is there after that fact? It sounds like when time Mashiach comes, there's still Behira until we pronounce him as Mashiach. Once a person...
But the Behira is it's far less imbalanced. Once Mashiach comes, there's sure, but it's still Behira, but it's...
No. But that is speaking about when we proclaim him as Mashiach, when it's completely the words of the fear, or at least the Jews are considered safe. That's when we consider him as Mashiach, and that's when the free will. But in the beginning stages of Mashiach rise to power or rule, it's still completely Behira. He's young, because Rambam writes, he could die in the battle. So therefore, it doesn't prove that he's Mashiach. He could do everything according to what Mashiach was supposed to do, and die in the battle, and he's a righteous king, but he's not Mashiach. So how can you say that from the moment he appears, he's Mashiach?
Maybe the author of Hoshanas does not hold like the Rambam.
Good, but the Rambam wrote is Psak Halacha, so I don't know where it is.
The Rambam says nobody knows exactly how these things will happen. So that's he covered for himself that way. Yes. Now, again, Rabbi Elazar ben Aruch is not necessarily. It could be that he was in a Shama which are very on Madrega, which was not coming back again.
But it does seem from that episode shows that everybody has a specific place in this world. They have to mitakin. Not only your mitakin, but each person has his way of sanctifying God's name. Because when one of the requests he makes to God, they cannot have an extra.
Right. So this is the other answer. Is that we have a fundamental principle, Bahare Kamshe the Rachmana Lamalach. In those secrets of Hashem, why are you getting involved? It's none of your business. Meaning that from our perspective, we're not supposed to think about the Gilgulim.
We're not supposed to think about it.
That doesn't mean anything. It's not supposed to impact on our avodah. If it gives us more emunah, wonderful, but it's not supposed to impact on our avodah. In other words, Reuven ben Shimon, Yosef ben Shimon, that's where the Gemara is. Yosef ben Shimon is Yosef ben Shimon. And Yosef ben Shimon is not going to figure out what was I like when I was Avraham ben Yitzchak. And what am I going to be like when I'm Zerubbabel ben Shaltiel. Right? Those are not that individual. Has his place in the grand Shir Koma of Klal Yisrael. Whether he's a Gilgul of a previous person or not, that entity of Rabbi Elazar ben Arach was a critical building block in Klal Yisrael. And that building block of Rabbi Elazar ben Arach perhaps, has to be poor in order to be that Rebbe Elazar ben Arach. So Hashem could tell him, yeah, you know what, Rebbe Elazar ben Arach, someday when you're Shlomo, then you will be rich. Right? But that doesn't do him any good right now.
Yeah.
Because, what?
Because they're not rich.
Right, well, yeah, okay. So that doesn't do him any good right now. So that's to say, in this Gilgul, maybe. Who knows? No guarantees.
Why couldn't God give him riches in this world? I guess it makes, he could give him his millions in this world, and then next world will come back as a Gilgul with a million less in his bank account.
It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way?
No, because the mitos of a rich person, the mitos of a rich person are different than the mitos of a poor person. His mitos are going to be affected by having lots of money.
This is another question.
By the way, I'm listening now to the Christian Bible. Told you that, right? He was not a nice man. He really wasn't.
Who?
Yoshka. Jesus, he wasn't a nice man. He says all sorts of very nasty things, and especially
About people.
what?
About Jews or
Both, and especially about rich people. He hates rich people. He says, "What? If you're rich, you're not going to get into the kingdom of heaven." What?
How's that any different than saying?
It's like there's a custom, I assume. What? Yeah. But you can darshan. He doesn't explain. He doesn't say because rich people are haughty. He doesn't say that. He says rich people will have no place in the kingdom of heaven. The poor will have a place in the kingdom of
They
heaven.
don't have anything behind this, like to explain.
I'm just listening to text and not listening to the Mefarshim.
I mean, they do have it in the Greek. It's written in Greek, though. But
They have something written down, like about background and all this. It's in Greek.
No, they don't have any background. They have a commentary. It's not background.
Right.
Yeah, there's no background
Oh,
to it.
it's not. Okay, it's commentary on it. No.
There's commentaries, but
Rashi on this.
it's no right. Yeah, but there's all those. Not the same kind of commentaries we have. I mean, it's a very strange work, but he was not. He doesn't like rich people. He doesn't. He doesn't like people who have high regard for their relatives. Says you have to leave your father and your brothers, and I'm here to he refuses to meet with his mother and brothers, and he's
What, he refused to meet with his mother? How? She's his mother. She's the
yeah, I don't know what the Catholics do with that, but in all three of the Gospels I've listened to so far, he refuses to meet with his mother. His mother comes to see him, and he doesn't want to go. He says, "Who is my mother? Anybody who was with me is my mother and my brothers." And then he doesn't go out to meet his mother.
He's like an older Derek child. Sounds like.
He's very, very tough. He says a lot of people are consigned to the fiery pit for all time. It's really the outer darkness. So
You read the Quran, right? I have a question. And you read this so far. In the Jewish text, in Chumash, there's a concept of Kadoshim Shetihu, we shall be holy, and it's been repeated several times that this is, as a Jewish nation, this is our
Right.
purpose, to be holy and holy to God. Is that a message like being brought in the other two books? Is there a concept of Kadoshim to you?
in Islam, no, it's not. There's no kedusha. It's mostly giving money to tzedakah.
But there's no concept of just being holy, being separate, being pure. There's no
But
concept.
Christianity, the way it's portrayed, is really an outgrowth of Judaism.
New Israel.
What?
New Israel.
Yeah, but it's not even New Israel yet. I'm not up to anybody who's speaking about New Israel. All the early Gospels, they don't like the Jews, but it is. He doesn't come and say, okay, chuck the Jews. He says explicitly, he says, I came to minister to the lost sheep of Israel. He calls non-Jews dogs. He does. He says. He said a lady, a non-Jewish lady comes to him and says, heal me, right? So he says, I'm sent to the lost sheep of Israel. So she says, but still, whatever she says, and he says, is it right to share the food of the humans with the dogs? So the lady says, even the dogs eat from the scraps that the human beings toss under the table. So he says to her, "Oh, good gesagt," and
My mom does like a rumba.
yeah,
She has a pleasure.
right. So then he heals her. Yeah,
You guys know what that is.
yeah.
We do kind of think of women somewhat like that.
What?
And like Tanya or whatever, they say we're the lower levels, so like they don't have the neshama like we do, so they consider like the behemoths.
Yeah, but you don't expect that in the Christian Bible.
Yeah, you're right. No.
Yeah.
Do they don't get like cognitive dissonance from this kind of thing?
I don't know what happens. We know
They
that
have to reconcile it somehow.
they can't.
No, they just ignore it.
They just ignore it. Every gospel, first of all, the gospels contradict each other. They're all different versions of the same thing, which gets kind of monotonous because you already hold it. I heard the story already. Well, I have to hear it again. But this is there's this really weird thing when he comes to Yerushalayim, and he sees that he's hungry, and there's a fig tree, but it's not fig season. So he said, and the fig tree is not producing figs. So he stands there waiting for the figs. They don't come. So he curses the fig tree.
What? There's a Gemara that's the opposite, where where one of the Gemara
Right.
the son.
The son says, and again, Rabbi Yosef ben
He
Kisma.
actually curses his son for doing
Right, yeah. So I can't figure out what the poor fig tree did just because it didn't go. It didn't do.
He's God. What do you mean they don't
He
pay
had
the
timing.
money?
He curses
It's
the
like
tree.
goes up to the moon.
He curses himself.
So they don't eat. Like, how does that? Does the name stay for all generations in the fig tree to just that one specific?
Kicks it.
On that fig tree.
And that specific fig tree?
Yeah. They
What
would
you
have this
would
fruit.
want the 7 minimum of Eretz Yisrael?
What?
The figs are one of the 7 minimum. One of the 7.
So what? It's only that tree. He didn't curse all fig trees.
Oh.
It's only that one tree. So
Do they have a Masorah which fig tree it is?
I don't know. So there's a town in Long Island called Bethpage. Bethpage is from the Christian Bible. It's in Gemara. It's called Beis Pagi. Beis Pagi was the outskirts of Yerushalayim. There's even a neighborhood today, which is near Sanhedrin, which is called Shikun Pagi, because it's like a reference to that Beis Pagi, which was at the time of that was before 1967. That was the outskirts of Yerushalayim, and they named it after the Beis Pagi. So Beis Pagi became Bethpage. So these are all sorts of interesting, things. And right before he dies, on the cross, he says, I spoke about this?
A little bit.
He says, Keli, Keli, lama zavtani. He says in Aramaic, Eloi, Eloi, lama shvaktani.
You read it in Aramaic?
Then you say it over in Aramaic.
You say it?
I'm listening to it. Spoke
Why
on
couldn't you
tape.
speak in Hebrew? Why say
Is it
What?
Why
transliterated?
couldn't you say
Oh yeah, he spoke Aramaic. When he raised the girl from the dead, he said, Talisa kumi, which means daughter arise in Aramaic. I mean, whenever he says something,
Do you understand or you have to get translated? Do you understand what he said?
no, I only understand. No, you can understand it.
You can understand it?
That's not true. I mean, the reader is not so sure. They don't know exactly what they're reading, but you can make it out. Yeah.
In the Bible, is it transliterated in Aramaic? Is it in a book like that too written?
I don't know. I'm not reading the book.
Where's he reading it from?
It wasn't written in Greek.
What?
Where's he reading it from?
Well, there are many translations. I'm listening to the early 20th century
Oh, it's
translation.
not. It wasn't written in Greek.
Why don't you get the old one?
The originals were written in Aramaic. They're lost. Evidently, a few of the sayings carried over to the Greek.
Because somebody who was
Septuagint one.
here told me that
Septuagint is the Old Testament.
That one?
What?
Can you read that one?
Can you read the Septuagint
Can you get the later version of that one?
into English?
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably. I don't know.
It should be the most accurate one.
No, because it's been corrupted over the years. The people have corrupted it. The Christians have corrupted the Septuagint. Yeah.
So far, which according to the translation reading, which one would it support most of the Christian churches? Does it seem as if
Well, Catholics for sure, because he asks us divorce.
oh, he does.
He says no divorce.
Well, get.
What?
Get.
He says Moshe Rabbeinu gave. This is what he says. That Moshe Rabbeinu gave them a get, to use a get, because they were bad people.
Oh, thank you.
But nowadays, well, I say I'm more machmir. So he says no getting, no gerushin.
Because they're better people.
What?
They're better people.
He wants to be better people.
So what is he?
So I mean, that's very Catholic, because the other Christians have divorce.
right?
But Lishi, yeah, he's quite
Is it only 3 books?
quite adamant.
Shita, or just in the first book?
No, in all 3 of the ones so far. 2 of them so
They
far.
don't have Kedushin.
So maybe they go according to the fourth Shita.
I don't know. I haven't finished the whole thing yet.
How do they talk about Kedushin? There's no Kedushin.
What?
There's no Kedushin for that.
No, he's talking about Jews. He says the Jews should have no divorce. No, so the church should carry over his teaching, right? Because that's his teaching. If you're assuming he founded a new religion, so you have to assume that whatever he said, he means for everybody.
But he still holds it the Bris and Shabbos and Kashrus. He hasn't forsaken those.
It's a machlekes Shushinik Yersos. According to the first version in Mark, he says he forbids all non-kosher food.
But he keeps Shabbos. He does say to keep Shabbos.
Yeah, but also that's not so simple. According to the version in Matthew, he allows you to eat bread without washing.
It's only their one.
Right. So it's a big nafkamina, right? So that's because they once caught him that his Talmidim weren't washing. Right? So, okay, they're a bit mono-Orthodox, they didn't wash for so all the time. How does that happen? What? It's a big problem, mono-Orthodox day schools. The kids don't wash. It's a big problem. So whether he was matzah treif or not, it's unclear. But at least so far, it's kind of because it's a stira. So on the Shabbos, there was one time when his disciples were picking wheat on Shabbos, and he said, I have power over the Sabbath. The Son of Man has power over the Sabbath. What?
He says the Son of Man. That's what he says.
That's what he calls himself, Son of Man. Yeah.
But doesn't say we all sons of men somewhere.
Well, that's like it's taken from Yechezkel. Yechezkel is always called Ben Adam, right? So he's also saying about himself Ben Adam. I assume that's carried over, and was a way probably deliberately.
Like you're human, you're mortal, you're time bound.
Right. So Son of Man is a translation from Ben Adam.
Oh, he said Son of God. I think he said.
No, he says Son of Man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Son of Man have a...
He doesn't call himself Son of God. He says he's the Son of God, but he doesn't call himself. He calls himself Son of Man. So he says. So that's what he says. He has power over the Sabbath, but it's not clear because the raya he brings is from David when David was fleeing from Shaul that they went to Nov Ira Kohanim and they ate the lechem aponim. Even though Zar is not allowed to eat the lechem aponim. But that was pikuach nefesh. So it could be in this case it's also pikuach nefesh. So I don't know, it's unclear what exactly the circumstances were. But he says, I didn't come to bring peace, I came to bring war, and daughters are going to turn against their mothers, daughters-in-law against their mothers-in-law, sons against their fathers, and
that's what it says in the last mission of
Saita. It's a paraphrase of last mission Saita. Yes. So, yeah. It's a fascinating book.
Would you say it was consistent?
I don't know. I don't see how anybody would actually become a Christian so far. Again, maybe later books are much more inspiring. But so far I have not seen how anybody can become a Christian just from reading the Christian Bible.
What about
Now, I can understand. I can understand now why the church, the Catholic Church, discouraged its adherents from reading the Christian Bible. Reading the Bible is a very Protestant thing. The Protestants went back to reading the Bible. But for the first 1,500 years of the church's existence, they discouraged reading the Bible.
What about guys like the Greek
Only
Orthodox?
partials are
What?
Greek Orthodox and the Armenians, they do the same thing as the church?
What do you mean?
Are they more like the church or are they more like the Protestants?
No, I think they're more like the Catholics.
They're even worse for it.
Yeah. They're probably all illiterate anyway, so I don't think it makes a difference.
Gutenberg's press was illegal.
What was legal?
The Bible.
Because it's the Bible?
Was Gutenberg Jewish, on it?
What?
Gutenberg.
No, it's not Jewish. It's like in Romania. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Ceausescu, whoever the last dictator of Romania was. So photocopying machines were illegal. Possessing a photocopying machine was like your crown split you to death.
Why is that? What's his reason?
Because then you can disseminate subversive literature, do all sorts of things with that.
What about the Quaran? Is that something that would make someone switch over or no?
I don't see it.
What's the basis of what's the deal with the Quaran?
Submission is all it is.
The Quran is highly, highly repetitive. Yeah. But most of it is Muhammad explaining why he doesn't have to do any miracles.
You imagine while reading it that people were just continuously asking him to do miracles?
Yeah. Yes. He's speaking in the name of God. He's saying God's telling him that he doesn't have to do any miracles because God has done enough miracles and it didn't do any good in the past. So why should he do a miracle now? So that's with they're big on the medrash with Avraham going into the furnace, and the Makos in Mitzrayim, and they say, listen, that didn't do any good. So why should so?
Did they misquote anything in the Torah?
Yeah.
But the
Many times. What? Yes.
Does it misquote anything?
There are a couple. There are a lot of midrash. A couple of midrash, not a lot, but several midrash which are in the Quran, which are pretty amazing. Like he repeats several times the story about Avraham Avinu breaking all the idols in his father's workshop and giving the biggest idol the hammer, right? So that's repeated in the Quran a few times.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So they're into medrash too.
No, but if you read the Jewish version versus I remember the Jewish version, when the father comes down, everyone doesn't scream at his father. He just says like, well, I don't know what happened, the big one. And then he's like, what are you talking about? It's like, well, so I don't know, according to your theory, this should be happened. It's like, the Lashon is much more simple with his father, versus if you read the translation of their version, he basically curses his father. He goes like, you're a fool, you're a wicked man, how can you believe such a thing? Distinctly, like the Lashon was completely different.
Could be, I remember, but that could be, yeah. So.
Is there much in the Quran that disputes Torah?
No. There's not very much at all. It's very heavily based on Judaism and on Christianity.
What about the special taxes and the low level of a Jew?
It's not well done. It's mentioned in passing, like how they should have to be submissive to you, but it's not a major focus of the Quran
if
itself.
I want to make it a focus, I could focus on it.
Yeah, but no, I'm sure somebody told me that the Quran is only 14% of what Islam is about, because the other parts of Islam are the Hadith, which is the Torah Sheba'al Peh, and also
The actual Torah Sheba'al?
No, they're Torah Sheba'al Peh, and the Muhammad's biography, which is like the Shia or the Sunnah or something like that. One of the Shiites or Sunnis, one of them, the name comes from the biography of Muhammad.
So you have any kids, right?
Well, lots of kids.
Oh, did they take over? Didn't take over?
Yeah, the Shiites. That was the big split. The Shiites follow his son-in-law, and I think the Sunnis his son. It's like they'll have Chassidish breakup between the between the Rebbe's, between the son-in-law and the son. So that's what happened, the beginning of Islam, and they're still fighting each other today because of that breakup back then. Yeah, so
there was some kind of Muslim talk thing on the radio or something that I heard. And they were talking about giving tzedakah. They didn't use the word tzedakah.
it's a big thing in the Quran.
And also, it's like you should talk to your local imam to find out, what's right for you. It kind of sounds like you talk to your rabbi.
Tzedakah is a very, very big thing in the Quran. The main mitzvah stressed over and over again is
to whom directly the important to give.
Just as the poor. Your family comes before everybody else.
There's a quantity which is not. By us, like I said, Truma or Meiser, like 10% of the water.
Well, how much do you think?
I remember.
By then, it's like less.
But the interesting thing in the Quran is that God doesn't love you. It never says the Quran, Allah loves humanity. It says you should fear Allah and you must obey Him, and Allah expects to be obeyed. But it never says that Allah loves humanity, which is a very, depressing kind of thing. And basically it means that, it's all, you better be afraid of me and watch what you're doing. And then if you are good boys, I'll give you a nice place to live. If you're bad boys, then zap, you're going to burn. And there's no Ava, it's not mentioned. I was listening for some mention of the God loving humanity and therefore creating them, but it doesn't say anything of the sort. Yeah.
You were disappointed.
Maybe it's in the oral law.
What?
Maybe it's in the oral.
Maybe it's in the oral law.
Are you gonna read that?
Another interesting thing, if I find out, find audio. I was looking for audio. Can't find audio. So the
Read it.
I was not going to read it. And so I spent so much time in the car this year, so now I have a lot of time to listen to
Your
things.
son also listens to this when you drive with him?
What?
Your son also listens to this?
No, I don't. What I wanted to say is that another interesting thing about the Quran is that the opposite of what our Medrash says, in that our Medrash says that the Malachim wanted to say Shira to Adam Arishon, and Hashem made him fall asleep, so they would know he's not divine. Anybody remember that Medrash? The other Malachim Bikshma Achshar Slifnei Lomar Shira in front of Adam, because Adam was, Tzelem Elokim. So that's why Hashem made him fall asleep to show he's not divine. So he didn't say Shira. In the Quran, it's the opposite. The Quran says that Hashem told the Malachim to bow down to Adam. And there was one Malach who refused, Iblis. Iblis became the Satan.
That's
That's not Jewish? I've heard that before. But
That's Muslim.
really?
That's
Yeah.
the process.
Yes. Yeah.
Wait, so what the Christian version of Iblis is, what's his name? Luther?
Lucifer. But I haven't gotten it. I haven't gotten it. They haven't mentioned yet where he comes from. They mentioned the devil. Yeah, the devil tried to tempt
Iblis, really?
in the Quran, not in the non-Christian Bible.
And this angel of free will, I guess? What's the story on that?
Yeah.
Why is it that I always come in on the devil and not the Korsim and...
That's what we were talking about the whole time.
Hey, if the shoe fits. Yeah. So I don't know where the saying comes from in Christianity yet. By us, he's a good guy. We don't. He's does what Hashem wants him to do.
In Christianity, supposedly there was some big war in heaven or something like that he was trying to overthrow.
Yeah, Lucifer tried...
I'm not.
He was cast out.
Could be. I'm just on hold. I haven't gotten to that
You got
yet.
the first three Shitas down.
You're right. I'm not right. I know there are a lot of these books. A lot of.
But like the Shitas themselves, how many Gospels?
I have no idea. Just plowing through. So there are 12 apostles, but that's not.
Only 4 books exist.
Then each week they make their own gospel.
Well, then there's all the other uncanonized works that are supposed
Yeah, like the Book of
to
Mormons.
Apocrypha. Yeah.
Hey.
So I think in the Christian Bible, actually, in the Christian Tanakh, they put in the book of Maccabees.
Yeah,
Catholic,
yeah.
We should read that.
Oh, wow.
not Protestant.
What?
Not Protestant.
Not Protestant, just Catholics?
What does it have to do with anything, the Maccabees? Why would you put the book of Maccabees into your Bible? It's a completely historical fact.
They also put in
It's a book of history,
Baruch and stuff like that.
I don't know why. What did they put in?
Because maybe because we don't have it in ours, we
It was the Baruch Book of Enoch.
Ecclesiasticus, which is like an extension of Koheles.
Oh yeah, they have. Oh yeah.
Ecclesiastic East Koheles.
No, that's Ecclesiastes. This is Ecclesiasticus.
There's a Greek addition to it, unfortunately.
Whatever it is.
Next time you're in a hotel room, look in the Gideon Bible, see what's in there. It's only usher to take it with you. You can look at it in the hotel room and leave it there.
Stealing or
Put it upside down.
No, they don't mind. They don't mind if you take it. They'll just replace it.
Why can't we publish something, a pamphlet, and just distribute it into the hotel rooms as well?
No, the reason that they put it in the Bible in the hotel rooms is because people kept going to hotels to commit suicide.
What?
That's the reason they have a Bible.
And shoot
Does
on
that help?
and shoot on their
It's by
wife.
law they have.
Huh?
And shoot on their wife.
Oh, that, yeah.
Well, that's government officials, but...
I don't know. I don't know if that's an effective deterrent, but it's interesting
It
concept.
used to be that's why. Because in the South, that's what a lot of people used to do. They commit suicide in the hotel.
Why the hotel?
In the
Oh,
south.
you don't have to
Just
worry about
because
cleanup.
nobody would find you the next day, nobody would talk you out of it. I don't know.
They should put Bibles down on the George Washington Bridge.
We have a phone.
Well, no, then there should be also a cookbook under it that they can add a last recipe before they go.
Anyway, so that it's the main thing is that I don't see how you can read Tanakh and then read these books and then become a Muslim or a Christian. Makes the Tanakh is so much superior.
Are you going to get to the Reverend Moon's book as well after a while?
No, I'd like to read the. I'd like to do the Book of Mormon.
Okay, I mean, sooner or later we'll hear
Cool,
about
that's
that.
awesome.
The golden plates.
Yeah, I want it. I don't know if it's out. There's audio in it, but I really wanted to do the Book of
Is there
Mormon.
much Mefarshim on the Quran?
There are Mefarshim, but I don't know what I haven't learned them.
What's the difference between the Sunni and the Shia thing?
I think the same Quran. No, that's later. All that is different. All that's later
Like
stuff.
politics.
Yeah, that's.
There's the
Those were
rabbis.
different songs, two sets of
Yeah.
songs.
Yeah.
From a
What would be next after the so you already read the Quran, you're going to read you're reading the Christian Bible now, but what's next after this?
As I said, I'd like to get the Book of Mormon.
Book of Mormon. I mean, outside the scope of the Christian Muslim world.
Oh, I don't know, but
Hindu?
yeah, I guess I think that Hindu texts are just very strange. I don't know if there's anything.
Yeah, like an elephant birth
Yeah.
world or something like that.
There's maybe.
Rabbi Zabriskie mentioned today that the Aifshitz, I think, Rabbi
The Venus and Aifshitz?
I think he mentioned something about the Greek mythology. He said it's not as crazy as it sounds. He says there's some truth to the mystical powers that they ascribe to certain people in the mythologies.
Could be.
Have you ever heard of this?
No, but it's not. Makes sense.
I mean, that's the whole deal of Avodah Zarah, is the fact that they had certain malachim that people.
Not Malach. Kochos Hatzuma. Kochos Hatzuma.
No, but I remember Rambam talked about this in Hilchos Avodah Zarah. It says
No, that's how they initially started serving Avodah Zarah, right? Is that they started turning to the intermediaries.
so. They said that's how that you draw a line to Greek mythology. You have Zeus, which is the king of all gods, and then you had all these minor ones. So people each worship their minor ones, whatever they needed.
Anyway, we were supposed to finish the halachic issues tonight, so I guess we will. What? Tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday.
Yes, it is.
Alright, so.
I can't do it. I
Change
can't.
the schedule.
What?
Why can't you come Thursdays?
Because I have to shop for Shabbos on Thursdays.
Oh,
That's what it is?
Rabban Kosher is open late.
Yeah. So this year my Fridays are full up, so I'm not able to do it on Friday like I did last year. So Thursdays.
The kosher.com delivers.
What?
What does the rabbi do shopping? Like buy his meat and everything?